Hello, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I'm live at the Triskel and I'm delighted to say I've been joined by OHHMS, Max and Chainey. How are you, lads?
Good, thank you. Good.
Yes,
Thanks for having us, man.
Welcome to Cork.
Cheers, thanks.
So you just were saying there beforehand that he actually played Cork before.
Yeah.
A few years back, was
a
it?
fair few years back. I think we did like two dates in Ireland.
Yeah.
One was Dublin, one was Cork. So the exact same thing we're doing. Like this,
Right.
Just reverse order.
Well. In reverse order, yeah.
Reverse order, yeah. Cool. So just for the people that don't know, can you just tell us how the band was formed? And
Sure. So it was before my time. I joined sort of very, very slightly later after it was formed. But it was old members of an old, I guess, like hardcore emo band from where we're from called Babies 3.
okay.
And then Chainey was the bassist, and Mark, our guitarist, was the guitarist for Babies 3 for I don't know, 6 months or something.
Oh, no, it's longer than that. I think because the other Paul and the original guitarist Dan, they're like well old.
Yeah.
Like we was like the young ones. Like
Yeah.
So like they were in a band like in like the early 2000s when when I was still at school, and then they split up. They got back together. They asked me and Mark to join the band. Then I ruined the band. The band split up, and then and a year later, it's like,
You broke a bass head, I think.
Okay.
I did way worse than that. But and then eventually that Paul, the singer, he was like, I want to do a band again. So he got us all together. The drummer from that previous band didn't want to do it, I assume. I don't know what the deal was. They weren't talking to me at the time. And then we got some guy on drums who, it was all right, but we needed a better drummer.
Yeah.
And I'd met Max in a pub a few years beforehand, so I asked him.
And I'd just come back from university, so I was
okay. You were at a loose end.
and innocent, and and I think you just posted a Facebook post with like, are there any drummers who can play?
Because Paul was just like, he didn't like the drummer's style, so I was like, that's it, we're just going to end the band. So out of desperation, I put on Facebook, any drummers around, and then he messaged me. He's like, yeah, I'll do it.
Cool.
Yeah, and so we started it, and then Paul. Like the initial idea for OHHMS was just to be a one studio record thing, just to release something, just to say, look, we've done it. And Paul was very keen on the idea of it being very, very much like Swans. So very
Swans, yeah.
And so he wrote a very, very simple drum beat. You'd written loads of stuff, and then we tried it out. We recorded it with a local friend of ours, Ian Sadler,
right,
who's recorded all of OHHMS records. And then as soon as we got it recorded and we listened back to it, we were like, holy shit, this can go really far. Then we started gigging, then started asking labels, got into Highly Raw, and we all kind of
like
snowballed
you've been
from
described as sludge, post metal, avant garde, and my favourite doom metal band with more progressive, eerie landscapes. There's some of the quotes.
I saw someone put on Twitter the other day that I really liked, that we're existential post stuff.
Oh, that's actually
just read into that as much as you like.
but like, I mean, kind of where you're going, especially with the last album, you can see you're just progressing steadily. Kind of, you have your own sound now, and you're kind of comfortable in your own skins,
Yeah, I think when we started it, we tried to avoid playing to a specific kind of genre.
Yeah, well, most bands do kind of.
I mean,
I guess.
Like, none of us really have the same taste in music either. I think that kind of helped, because we're all trying to write what we like, and it clashes with each other, but we just go with it. Yeah,
I guess over the years it's all kind of, it's been molded into, I guess, expansive post.
There you go. You're going straight to label it.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
And as you were saying, Paul was into kind of the hardcore scene and Conversion, stuff like that. And kind of what kind of backgrounds were you kind of into? Chainey, maybe you first.
Like noise rock.
Okay.
Bands like Lightning Bolt, Locust, that sort of stuff. Actually, we're quite similar in tastes.
Right. Okay.
Like, it's kind of like, there was us two. There's Paul and Dan, and then there's Mark, who's like into his black metal.
Okay.
So like, when I was going through university and stuff, I had quite a wide range of it. Like, mainly in terms of like drumming, a big one being Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
I was a big fan ever since I was a kid, and but I was really into Aphex Twin as a kid, and
That's out there, all right.
Yeah, and that's like kind of like a strange combination. But then, ever since then, I've been really into battles and.
Oh yeah, battles. Yeah.
Cheney, like as soon as I got into a band with Cheney, introduced me to Melvins, and I had no idea where they were for my whole life until I started listening to Melvins.
That's quite a cool blend with you all together, you know.
Yeah.
So I presume you're sick of being asked this, but I'm going to ask it anyway for people. So how did the Holy Roar Records deal come about?
We just sent them an email,
right.
And they said yes.
Yes.
And they said yes.
We were very surprised that came through, just because with Holy Roar their roster is very, very strong, and their kind of ethos for signing bands, from what I can take, is that
Are they London based? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, right.
and they love the kind of the whole package idea. They like it to be very, very professional from the get-go. They like decent artwork and everything. I think that was one of the things that Alex from Holy Roar said when he signed us, was because we sent him the finished tracks that we just recorded for Bloom, and we sent him the artwork as well, and he was like, I really like the fact that your artwork complements and enforces the music that you've played, whereas you know.
And of course, he didn't have to actually do any more work with it either.
No,
then,
exactly.
You know?
No,
Yeah,
it was a complete package, and it was at the time where we'd only gigged. We'd have like 3 or 4 gigs under our belt at that time.
Right.
And, you know, we were pretty much nobody. So it's safe to say that he took a big gamble on us, signing us. But yeah, that's how it came about.
Just an
really.
email.
Yeah.
And I presume then he came to the show then, and
he came to us in London, and he was like, if I like you, I'll sign you. And luckily we played quite well that night, because just after we got signed, our gigs are really 50-50 because we're still quite new. Like, you might see us on a good night, you might see us on a really bad
night. And we only had 2 songs, and each 15 minutes long, and you know.
And was it a support slot, or were you actually playing?
It was a support slot.
We were supporting Black Shapes. No,
Earth Mass. I think we.
No,
was it not Earth Mass?
It was.
Was it Black Shapes?
What was his other band called? It was that guy.
Yeah. So
I think it was Black Shapes.
Yeah. So you were like kind of the first band on to literally.
Yeah, more or less, I think.
Yeah. And were you conscious that he was there? Like, was it a kind of...
Yeah, I was told to hide in the toilet because they was worried my personality would blow it.
So Jesus Christ.
Paul was like, go hide in the toilets and don't talk to him.
Yeah, Alex is coming. Yeah, don't say anything stupid.
Classic. But that's what I like about you as well. Like, you release material fairly quick, you know. I think that keeps you relevant as well, because there's just so much stuff out there at the moment. It's just crazy, isn't it? Like, I mean... like kind of, that's kind of a throwback to the old days, you know, when kind of bands you'd nearly expect an album out of them after a year and a half, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm old school, man. I'm 48, you know, so you know, I love that. Like, none of this bullshit of waiting 5 years for a fucking album and stuff like that crap, like, you know.
Yeah,
that would
absolutely.
literally drive me insane. Like, I've still got songs that I wrote from during Bloom that we still haven't even started on yet.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I get frustrated at the moment. It's just like we should be doing more songs, but like, you know, there's all of us in the band.
Yeah, well, with
songs,
a collective,
so we've got to kind of take it in turns.
Even saying that though, it feels like when you're there and in the band and doing it, it feels so much more drawn out.
Yeah, it feels
like it feels longer.
Like Cold felt like it went on forever writing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, the subjects of the current album, I wrote that to be on Cold.
Go away, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's
So
mad.
there's a proper back catalogue of ideas.
Yeah, so you're not stuck for anything at the moment, anyway.
No, in fact, so
we're just about to record a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been doing some writing.
Yeah.
Do you want us to talk about this?
Yeah. No, I'll bring it back up, because I just want to, you know, kind of, as I said, kind of with bands, you know, being so prolific. Well, you know, you'd want them to be prolific, you know, at this stage and day and age, because like they'd actually, if you're not, you'll actually be left behind, you know, especially kind of with merchandising and...
Oh, absolutely, yes.
I mean, we have more t-shirts
product.
and songs. So.
When we had 2 songs, we had about 3 t-shirts. It sounds like already printed and released and stuff.
But like, you brought a few over with you tonight, yeah?
Yeah,
cool.
we've got quite a few
Nice.
actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Yeah, we've been very ambitious.
Excellent. That's great, man. We all love t-shirts here. What about kind of kind of internet versus magazines, lads? You know.
Oh Christ. Oh.
You know what's.
I haven't read a magazine since I was about 14.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I just don't. Pick
if it's
them
on
up
my phone,
anymore.
I'll probably.
I guess kind of like back in the day. Well, with magazines, it's all about promoting bands and being hot on the kind of news of current bands and stuff.
But most magazines are about shit bands.
But no, what you notice is that you find a lot of that on social media. So bands have their own platforms to, tell, fans their updates and everything like that. So
and they can plug that they're on a magazine as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and so, somebody's Facebook news feed has taken over what magazines, what they stood for back in the day.
Yeah, you'd wonder about the future of magazines, really. You know, I mean, would you get excited now, for example, like if you were on Kerrang or Metal Hammer?
Still out.
Are they still out? Yeah.
They're still around. Yeah.
Like Metal Hammer just went, or Kerrang went just through a period of just shit fucking.
Oh, there's a Slipknot on the cover every other month.
Yeah, but I mean, like they got worse since. I mean, like people like Slipknot, but like they were getting like these emoji fucking bands. That's what I call them. Emo bands, and it was just fucking terrible.
There was a time where they were going for super commercial pop rock bands, but it seems like.
Yeah, recently there's been like Employed to Serve and stuff like that on the front cover, which is
always
good
when
to
we saw
see
a label mate being on the front cover of Kerrang, we're like, holy crap, they've brought it back, even though they've probably dropped in kind of sales, not just because of that, but because
what was it?
Yeah, I know. But because magazines are on the down anyway. Not many people buy magazines anymore. But the fact that they're taking a plunge into more underground, unheard of bands.
Yeah, and you know what? That's good you brought that up, because you know what's coming around a lot now is fanzines. People are actually going out there now and making their own fanzines about the metal scene. Not kind of it'd be death metal and black metal. I know you might be into it, but there's a big underground scene with the old magazines now being traded again, and cassettes and stuff. So it's kind of,
you see them more often at distros and merch tables.
Yeah, we got a friend Emma from Connect Nothing. She has her own fanzine. Can't remember the name of it though.
No.
Would you look at releasing cassettes now?
Probably.
I don't know. I think I think it would become more hassle than it's actually worth. I think I completely appreciate it's cool to have like a physical release in your hands, like almost like not just a medium for you to play the music, but a trophy. It's your gem.
It is.
It's like a treasure of yours that you carry with you. And I guess vinyls are,
that's already enough hassle, just getting it on vinyl, CD, and then MP3.
But I guess the format, it's a dead format. It's tough to
my mates from
create that.
My mate's band Skylark, they was like, I've got a new album. They gave me a cassette. I was like, how am I going to listen to this? Yeah. I still haven't heard it.
I can take it apart and decorate my house.
Yeah, the front cover looks cool.
That's class. I love your videos. Of course, you have Craig Murray.
Yeah.
So he worked with Mogwai and Converge as well. How did that come about?
I'm not really sure.
I think that was mainly Paul.
Right.
I think Paul got in touch with all others. I can't remember how we started I remember there was a time, because we did a music video for The World
and we hated it,
and that was like a really quick fix, because we'd not done a music video before, and the management of the label, like, you have to have something added to it. You got to release
a new album. You've got to have like a single sort of thing.
You got to release a whole package. You've got to have music video, decent artwork, big press release, all that sort of stuff. So that's what we did. But our main thing was like, right, we want to do a music video, but we don't want it to be us standing in a derelict building playing
instruments, miming.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what we did. And we're like, well, it's been done. We've got to do it. And
but Craig has put a different spin on your stuff now.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you happy with it, the two of you?
I've not actually seen it.
What?
Really?
Have you not seen it?
No. Actually, I saw the
man.
Murder is Murder one. I haven't seen Shambles.
Dude. Oh man, it's phenomenal.
And there's a lovely prop at the end with all these plastic animals.
And the kind of.
Do you know anything about how that came about now?
No, well, all I know was that Paul got in touch with Craig to give him a general idea of what this whole album was about, and it was all about animal rights and animal cruelty and everything. And I think Craig said, I've been really wanting to work with kind of like wax work, and that, because the whole thing, he just did kind of speed ups and slow downs of using wax and ruining the film that he used to film Paul and everything. And I think that's just how it came about. It's it's a beautiful piece of cinematography, all these crazy colours and the mixture
suits the music as well, man.
Yeah, and the kind of mixtures of red and white and black and everything. He's done
I like the way, actually, because some bands don't do it. I love the way you attach the lyrics to the videos.
Yeah.
I like that.
Overnight.
Fuck's sake, Chainey, man.
Yeah. We shouldn't have brought him there.
Yeah. I only came here because
There was free
so
beer.
he didn't come here by himself.
It's also worth saying that we've something in the making is we're still working with Craig Murray.
Okay.
And he's doing a kind of cinematic piece of footage for Subjects. So that's the first track on Exist.
Oh, right.
So we'll be releasing that soon next year.
Would by chance would it be kind of that you'd play in front of the projections?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
nice one,
I don't know
Yeah.
how much we're allowed to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just guessed it anyway.
Well, no,
Oh, right,
but
okay.
I mean, I don't think we're allowed to say where we're
yeah,
doing
that's
it
fair enough. That's
all
fair
that
enough.
all we can say is we're going to be premiering it
Yeah.
at a place.
at a good,
that people
at
be
a
at.
nice place that we like.
Sounds
Yeah.
great, man.
You'll
I,
hear
I
about
like
Yeah.
when bands do different stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're very
Yeah.
excited about that.
That song Shambles, that was Daniel Sargent's last contribution.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
That's why it was.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, don't.
So
Yeah.
Stuart then came into the fold.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So what did Stuart bring as a musician and a teammate, I suppose?
Blonde hair,
Blonde
tall
hair.
sexiness.
Cool, sexy.
yeah, I think mate. So Chainey and I are in another band called Traps.
Okay.
We're recently now a two-piece, but
Stu was the guitarist of that band.
Ah.
So we brought
so
him
you
in
played
from-
guitar for
okay.
us.
Yeah.
Chainey went to college with Stu.
And actually, the guy filling in for Mark on this current tour is the other guy. Like, I went to uni with these two guys, and I got Stu in Traps,
Right.
and now we haven't got Mark just for the tour. He's got his mate Wayne, so it's weird going on tour with
Yeah.
these
Very
guys that hang out.
incestuous.
Yeah, it very
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we come from Thanet, which is very much known for that.
It's very small, and not many of us around.
Yeah,
Are you all kind of seriously in roughly the same vicinity? Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up in Herne Bay, which is
I've heard
right
of that.
next
yeah.
to Thanet.
I've never
Chainey
heard
grew
of
up
that.
in Margate.
Margate.
that's
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah. Paul and Dan were
They're from Margate.
area. Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Stu's Faversham.
Stu's Faversham. Yeah. So like
Mark's Bristol.
north
Well, was
northeast
Bristol.
Kent.
Mm.
And we go to a practice room all the time.
Okay.
that,
So,
like,
we kind of know
so
where
you'd
that's
overlap with a few other bands.
Oh,
and-
absolutely. Yeah, we've got a
That's
yeah,
cool, isn't it?
a
Yeah.
strong kind of group of friends there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So how long? Just going back to the recording of Exist. Where was the location of the recording? Was it in London or was it down by E? Or
That was
Yeah, it was with Ian
by us.
in,
that was with
Whitstable.
Ian. Yeah, so that was with Ian Saller. We've always been to him.
Yeah.
I think ever since we did Bloom.
Yeah, it came
And
out
it-
so well. We just was like,
why
just stick
change
with
it
him.
if it works? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a winning
Mm.
formula, and
Yeah.
he's originally his forte in recording is pop punk and emo bands,
Okay.
and so we were like the first proper like heavy band that he recorded.
Yeah.
God knows how like it
Mm.
resulted in a really really decent album and the recording
Yeah.
and everything, but we're almost too afraid to go to anyone else just in
Yeah.
case we break the spell.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I can understand that.
Mm.
And kind of, was it a fast process or was it a slow process? Can you remember?
This was quite a slow one because it was in the middle of us recording it. This was when Dan left and we
Okay.
had Stu back in. So
All right.
there were a couple of songs we had to rewrite.
Well,
It
it
was-
was Calves. We recorded the drums, and Calves was originally written by Dan. So and he was like, I don't want you keeping my guitar part. So we had to a week before going in to
So my
do the
my
guitars,
drum
rewrite
bits had already been recorded.
Okay.
So
So we
they
had to
had to
fit it
write
to
a
them.
whole song to my drum bits and calves. So it was a bit of a strange, messy process.
Yes.
And I like
Um,
my bass line that I'd written for it, so I was like, we have to keep the drums, the bass, and just write a new guitar. And even now, Dan's like, that sounds a little bit too similar to what I did.
Yeah, it was an awkward one, which is why we're much more excited to go into the studio now that we've got
Obviously, yeah.
Stuart with
Yeah.
us and we're a proper unit again.
Mm. The only songs we play live off of Exist are the ones we did with Stu,
Yeah.
like Subjects and Firearms.
But again, I'm glad you brought that up. Your live shows fairly energetic and stuff as well. How does that translate then to studio, where you go so slow, like you
Yeah.
know? It's,
That was
Like-
that was really tough at the start because we really kind of exaggerated everything in the studio and we tried to put everything into the recording and everything, and then it was almost like, shit, how do we perform this live and make it as epic and stuff?
Yeah.
And it was almost like we had two
Yeah.
bands because
Okay.
one was live and kind of we always called ourselves like a doom band but with like a punk ethos, so
Yeah.
we'd always go crazy and everything, but then in our recordings there's so much more kind of like finesse and it sounded much more epic than
yeah.
us getting really sweaty in a
Yeah.
room.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
So, kind of, you can talk now about kind of new teams and new material. I mean, like kind of, like considering your previous artwork and I suppose the theme of the last album, which was about animal cruelty and
Yeah.
stuff like that. What are you looking at now? Do you want to talk about?
Well,
just you don't have to give too much away, obviously.
Well,
but
I mean,
Well,
Paul,
yeah, I
Paul hasn't
think-
told us not to, so we can say what.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll spill the beans.
Like, he basically we did the first two EPs, and then we did the albums. The original plan was to do a trilogy of EPs before the albums, but
okay.
I think it's Holy Raw was like do an album, so we kind of stopped
Yeah.
it. We're now finally going to do that third EP to
Right.
finish the trilogy off.
Nice one, yeah. Cool.
So we've finished that. We've not recorded it yet. We're just putting the finishing
We're recording
touches
this,
to
the
it.
drums this month.
Yeah, we are actually. Yeah, so
We
this
haven't
month
finished writing, but
I'm
we
putting the
are.
drums back.
Okay,
putting the
so
drums down.
you might have it out in maybe January, February.
Well, I think is it summertime?
I think we're thinking,
Okay. Yeah.
like May, like
Okay,
late
okay,
spring.
okay.
That's when we're planning on getting it released.
And kind of roughly how many songs are you working with at the moment?
3.
3. Okay.
yeah, so it's still, we aimed for it to be the same length of time as the previous EPs.
Right.
And we're looking at doing very similar artwork as the EPs, just so it could be kind of one package. And we're
Was that, sorry, no, the artwork was that was with Black Sails, is it? Or,
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
one
or is it?
we tried getting Black Sails back, but that guy's moved on. He doesn't really want to go back to that sort of
Ah,
thing. So we've had to
okay.
find someone similar,
Right.
we've
which
got
has
kind
been very hard.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of Branco Studios did a last album cover, didn't
Yeah,
they?
who have we found that's doing this new one?
I remember her name is Ruth,
Yeah,
but I
Right,
can't remember.
So you're just
what
kind of working
design
with her at the
company.
moment, kind of
yeah
getting
she
her
sent
ideas,
some
yeah.
ideas, and it does
yeah.
look in line with the other
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
That's
so we're
nice,
kind of
man.
going back and forth with kind of minor revisions.
Yeah.
But we've got a
Yeah.
strong kind of.
It'd
idea
be
of
nice
how
to
it's
kind of
going.
have the three of them lined up and kind of have.
Yeah,
have
that's
That's the
same,
idea.
and then
yeah.
eventually
Cool.
have all 3 of them as like a CD that,
And I think Holy Raw were like really behind the idea because the idea of selling it as a box trilogy and
Actually, yeah.
it'll work really well.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a band now that nobody would know of outside of metal, but they're a band that I really followed a lot. A band called Ride,
Right.
and they had a trilogy of EPs as well, which kind of had themes like flowers on them, kind of different colors, and the 3 of them together worked fantastic. So I can
Yeah.
understand why you want to kind of do something like that.
It's like whenever you say Baroness, whenever you think
Yeah,
of the band
Baroness,
Baroness,
yeah, of
you
course,
think
yeah,
you
yeah.
immediately think about the imagery of
You
the
do,
album
yeah, yeah,
design.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's such an interesting idea
It is, yeah, cool.
to create this kind of, I don't know what the word is, but this kind of saga, I guess, of music. It's a cool idea to link them all together. And it's also, I don't know if we should talk about this either, but this might be kind of considered like a closing chapter for OHHMS, and we're going to
musically,
look at
as
musically,
a genre.
Right.
and we're going to be looking at new kind of influences
Right.
for future stuff.
Yeah,
So it
kind
might
of
be
Let's
haven't-
do me.
Yeah.
we haven't fully kind of decided on what we're going towards yet. We're going to get
Yeah.
this last EP out of the way, but after that, we've got plans to kind of mix things up
Yeah.
a little bit.
Interesting. Well, I
Yeah.
suppose like with 5V involved, and hopefully there'll be no more lineup changes as well, man. You can
Yeah.
settle
I
down
think
and
we're
kind
pretty
of
settled. Yeah, we're pretty set.
yeah. Tours. Like you've played Desert Fest, Arctangent, Bloodstock, Damnation, Incubate. What kind of do you look at when kind of a festival approaches you? Would you, if any festival approaches you, do you just take it straight away, or do you have to kind of
like,
have a chat about it?
Well, I mean, when it comes to festivals, like usually every time a festival's asked us to play, it's been one that we wanted to play already.
Okay, that's
Like
helpful.
I don't think we've ever been approached by a festival we didn't want to play.
Right.
And like there's been times where we were like Arctangent a few years ago, we was offered it, and like our manager at the time was like, no, they're not doing it. And we was like, no,
Yeah.
we want to do this.
Yeah. I think I actually saw. Was that you interviewed with Paul on that? I think the two of you were sitting
That
in
was a
kind of a
recent
barn.
one. Yeah, you were in the barn.
That was
Oh,
that was a
yeah,
different kind
yeah.
of lineup as well. You were kind of out there again on your own for style of music. I'm not
I
sure
think
which one.
I think that was the last time we played Arctangent. It was 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
I
I
can't remember
think.
because we played 3 times, haven't
It
we?
was just
Yeah.
before Exist
Yeah.
came out.
And kind of, we'll say again now, with G touring, what kind of bands do you look to support you? Who decides that?
That's a very good question. I think it's mainly what bands are
looking for a band to tour with. Like,
I think bands that are on the rise. You know, we're looking for kind of bands that we hope would kind of one up us. You know, something that we can ride the coattails of their success.
Like, would you get much approaches from local bands in your area? Has that happened?
I don't know. I mean, like, we don't really get much info on that. I can imagine that probably does happen, but that goes through booking agents, and there's a good chance that gets shut down before we even hear about it.
Yes. Okay.
I think the more kind of deciding factor is things like kind of guarantees, what they'd need from it, how much they'd be able to
how
push.
many Facebook likes they have. That's usually a big thing. Like, it's like, oh, we should tour with this band, but we can't because they don't have enough Facebook.
It's a shame to say,
it's silly. Like, but I think it's silly, but you know, that's
I guess that's
the game.
like, but that's
it
like
is the game. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You might as well call it as it is, man.
Yeah, man.
It's
It
the way
is
it's
very
gone.
silly. Like, there's so many bands that I'd love to go and tour with, but we can't. And the thing is, like, I'd be like, well, we're helping them out. It's like, yeah, but we need someone to help us out.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's how everyone's viewing it.
Yeah.
It should be a mutual, let's help each other out.
One thing we'd like to avoid would be just to play with bands that are too similar to us.
Yeah.
I think I'm always up for playing with artists that are just as kind of creative and out there as we are, but they don't have to fit the same bill.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that's kind of how fans cross pollinate as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
They'll see a different band and kind of go, fucking hell, I didn't think these lads, I'd like these, but they are actually quite good. You know,
I think that's one of the reasons we talked about this a while ago. Is about Arctangent. The reason why I think it's one of the best music festivals out there and events.
Where is that actually? Because
it's Bristol.
Bristol, okay.
But it's got every year. It's been going for like 5 or 6 years, but every year it's got such an eclectic mix.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's never just this genre of music we're going to play. It's always widely spread. They have super heavy bands. They've had Conjurer play.
Yeah.
They've had Converge headline once. They've had Dillinger.
We supported Dillinger.
Yeah.
The first time we ever played there.
Yeah.
That was
nice.
crazy. Like, I was hanging out with him backstage. That was weird.
Fanboying.
Yeah. And this was the first or second year of being a band. So it was like, what's going on?
It was
this is what I want to be like.
Max stage dive during a set and missed the audience.
I did a half stage dive and
how do you do a half stage?
He forgot to run.
He's not even joking either.
And he was very drunk and just walked out, jumped and hit the barrier. And then they kicked everyone backstage out. But luckily, they didn't kick me out because I'd been there the whole day. They thought I was like part of the crew.
Yeah.
But they kicked like 30 people out because of Max.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, everyone who was there. I apologise.
Brilliant. And again, just going back to touring wise as well, how are you kind of in Europe? Do you find it hard to break in?
Yeah, like especially like we did a headlining tour there once, and that was very much playing in front of no one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's like when it's us and another cool band, people are like, that's more encouragement for people to come out.
I don't think it's hard to say that we're big enough to go over there ourselves and do a headline tour in Europe. I think there are
I think if you got a good package of maybe three, four bands, you know, because that's I think that's a winner, because a lot of that is happening now in Ireland. The package of 3 bands, which aren't necessarily all the same, but like, you know, there could be 2 bands that could easily headline and they'll swap, you know, headlines and stuff. You know, so something like that in Europe might actually suit you, you know, said with the likes of Conan or some other.
No, we went on tour with Secret Cutter. Half of that was in Europe, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was alright. I think there's been a couple of tours that we had set up for Europe that have kind of fallen through for various reasons. And apart from that, we haven't had too much of an opportunity to tour Europe.
Yeah, that's true, you know. We'll see, man. I mean, next year could be another giant step forward, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
We really want to do like a big tour with us, Slab Dragon, Mammoth Weed, because like all 3 of us want to do it, but it's just like...
And hit Amsterdam first.
But I just don't get why that hasn't happened, because we've been talking about this for like 4 years now and it still hasn't happened.
I think we mainly want to tour for selfish reasons, because they're good friends of ours and they were super fun to tour with.
We just hang out, take drugs, get drunk.
That would work.
It's awesome.
So kind of what you have coming up is you've Dublin tomorrow night.
Yep.
Liverpool.
Yep.
And all those are, and London, all those are playing with a pale horse cut named Dead.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Are
it.
you
Yeah.
fans?
We, I hadn't really heard of them since we started playing, but I know that the frontman was in Typo Negative, and so
Yeah.
No, the drummer.
Was it the drummer?
Yeah, I
I
thought
thought it was the
drummer.
singer as well.
No, the singer's dead.
Oh,
Yeah, Pete.
Oh, okay, my
Pete's
bad.
dead.
okay.
Yeah,
you can
good.
cut that out. Yeah, it was the first time we saw them play in, where was it again? Milton Keynes. We played
Yeah.
with them recently.
Yeah. They bring their own crowd as well, man. You know?
Yeah,
There
which
was
was
a
good
lot
for
of
us.
people.
'Cause,
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that were serious fans of them.
Yeah. Oh,
you
fuck
know.
it, big time. Yeah.
Even though they played for over an hour and a half.
I think that was the issue. Like, because
Yeah.
when they first came on, it's like, yeah, we're on tour with this band. And after an hour and a half, it's like, oh, man.
It's
an
getting,
hour and a half.
yeah, it's getting tricky, to
I mean,
be polite.
And you're then on to Manchester, the Sophie Lannister Festival.
Oh, yeah, yes.
that'd be
that's
cool,
right. Yeah,
man.
Sophie Lancaster Festival.
Yeah, for Bloodstock, you know.
That should be fun.
Then Leeds, Temple of Boom.
that should be a good one, actually. 'cause
Yeah,
that's
Louder
with,
Than Godfest.
yeah, so that's with loads of label mates.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while since we've done a Holy Raw festival. 'Cause
Yeah,
we've done
it's been a couple of years.
We've done Holy Reefer 420 Fest a few
Right.
years ago.
Wasn't there one a year later as well?
We did the HR Rex, so
Yeah.
the 10-year anniversary. We played that,
Mm.
and that was always in Tufnell Park. There's like the Dome. There's Boston Music
Yeah.
Rooms. So we've always played that. So it's a bit of a strange one that we're going like halfway up the country to play this one.
Mm.
But Temple of Boom's a really good venue. We played there once before. Yeah, really enjoy all the bands on there.
That's an
That's
all-day
really fun,
festival, I presume, yeah?
Yeah, I think there's quite a
Guess
few.
so, yeah.
There's
it,
quite a
it looks
few.
like it, at least.
Is it kind of,
Quite a few bands.
it'd be obviously indoor, yeah?
Yeah.
How did you play Desert Fest as well? How did you find that?
We played the one in Belgium and in London.
Because I'm thinking of going to Desert Fest. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, it's a really good
I mean,
venue,
yeah.
You can find some proper gems there.
Yeah.
My only issue with it is because it's in different venues over London. Now, I'm not a huge fan of travelling in London.
Okay.
So we stuck to our venue pretty much. So we missed some pretty good bands just out
Yeah.
of.
But it's always very
Laziness.
well curated. There's
Yeah.
some decent, like when we played the one in Belgium.
Yeah, the Belgian one was amazing.
we saw.
I'd
Like,
say go to that one
Unsane.
definitely.
Yeah, we're checking out Unsane at the side of the stage when they played.
Oh yeah, that was mental.
that was awesome.
Like just before they went on, we was talking to him. It was like, oh, it's really cool to see you guys and stuff like that. And they played, and as soon as they finished playing, they came up to us. It's like, what do you guys think?
That's
Yeah.
class, man.
Like, this is Unsane. Holy crap.
You know, really nice guys, like really
Yeah.
down to earth, really nice, cool guys.
Yeah, so definitely go Desert Fest.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, oh my
Okay.
god, yeah, it's a
Check
nice
that out
festival.
So that's it, lads. Thanks a million for coming on the show.
Dude, thanks so much.
Can't wait to watch you tonight.
Thank you.
It'll be fun. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody? Missing band members?
Oh yeah, I suppose there's that guy that plays guitar
Yeah,
usually.
he's blonde and he wears glasses. I can't remember his name. So the reason why he's not coming is because he's a primary school teacher. So he's doing more important work than we are right now.
Imagine that. So it all
He's-
comes out in this podcast.
He's
man.
moulding the minds of our future generations. So if we can let him off for that.
So thanks to Chainey and Max. Fair
Thank
play to
you.
you, lads. You've been listening to the Metal Cell podcast. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to be on the show, contact me at themetalcell@gmail.com. Over and out.